Lesson 1-4, like terms and the distributive property. Essential question, how do you use the distributive property? So the definition of the distributive property is something that looks like a number outside of a parenthesis. Now what you do to simplify this expression is you take the 5 and you distribute it to the x and the 3. So when you're distributing, what you're actually doing is multiplying. So 5 times x is 5x. And 5 times 3 is 15. So when you use the distributive property, you're distributing the 5 to both parts of the parenthesis, where you end up with 5x plus 15. So use the distributive property to simplify each expression. So you'll notice that on every single problem, I'm going to take the outside number, so which in this case is the 7, and I'm going to distribute it to both of the inside terms. So I'm going to do 7 times 3w, which would be 21w, and then I'm going to do 7 times a negative 5, which would be negative 35. Now since neither of these terms are alike, my answer is complete. 21 has a w next to it and the 35 does not, so they're not like terms, so I'm finished. Second example, I'm going to take my 12 and distribute it to both the y and the positive 3. So 12 times y is 12y. 12 times a positive 3 would be a positive 36. 12y and 36 are not like terms, so I am finished. This problem, you'll notice, looks a little bit different than the first two. This time, instead of having a number on the outside of our parenthesis right here, it's on the back end. But I'm still going to do the same steps. I'm still going to distribute the 2 to everything inside of my parenthesis. I'm going to distribute the 2 to the 4n, so 2 times 4n is 8n. And 2 times, and then look at this sign right here, the 8 is negative. 2 times negative 8 is negative 16. So that's why my 16 is negative. Even though there's a plus right here, that doesn't automatically mean my problem is going to be addition. You have to look at the sign directly in front of each number. All that plus is saying is that the 4n is positive. So positive 4n times 2 gave me positive 8n. Negative 8 times 2 gives me the negative 16. All right, same direction, still using the distributive property to simplify. This time you'll notice that there are 2 sets of parentheses, and here is why. If I didn't have parentheses around this negative 3, look at what the problem would look like. It'd be 2 minus 5q minus 3, which I don't want to subtract 3. I want to distribute a negative 3. So you have to put the negative 3 in parentheses, so now they match, so that you know that you're distributing or multiplying. We're not subtracting 3 from 2 minus 5q. We're multiplying negative 3 by 2 minus 5q. So if I start with the negative 3 times negative 5q, negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15. Negative 3 times positive 2 is negative 6. So 15q minus 6 is my answer. Okay, now we're back to a problem where we've got our number that we're distributing out in front. So we're distributing just a positive 4 to our parenthesis. 4 times negative 7x is negative 28x. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Negative 28x minus 8. This time our number outside the parenthesis is a negative 6. So negative 6 times 4 is negative 24x. Negative 6 times negative 9, negative times a negative, makes a positive 54. If you ever have troubles when you're multiplying with your positives and negatives, you can make a little chart. Remember, a positive times a positive equals a positive. A positive times a negative equals a negative. And a negative times a negative equals a positive. So if you know you're someone who has troubles remembering your multiplication rules, and again, that's the same for division as well. So a positive divided by a positive makes a positive. Positive divided by negative is negative. Negative divided by a negative makes a positive. But make that little chart and it will help you remember the signs. Okay, so now we're back to 1 again, which has these negative 2 in parentheses. Now remember, we have to have parentheses around it because we don't want to subtract 2 from x plus 5. We want to multiply negative 2 by x plus 5. So if I distribute, negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Now keep in mind, you could also write this problem the other way. So if you did negative 2 times x first, you'd have negative 2x, and then negative 2 times 5 would be negative 10. These are the same answer, so either of those would work. Negative 10 minus 2x or negative 2x minus 10, same thing. Okay, now we've got an 8 on the back side of our parenthesis. So I'll distribute that to both. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times negative 3 is negative 24. And don't forget that variable. 8 minus 24x, or if you had negative 24x plus 8, that would be correct as well. Summary. You use the distributive property by